Hey guys, we'll get started in just a moment. AR, why don't you try talking?
Okay. Talk. Sorry, I just got comments on a fanfic and I want to read them, so.
Okay.
Yes, validation.
Yep.
And don't need to ask Dev to talk, because there she is.
Yep. This is my 11th day in a row working, and I need a fucking nap.
I think we all need a nap. Yeah, let's see. Let me double check a few things. Yeah, I threw that nice little teaser in there today about, well, I'll comment on it later. I'm not sure if anyone else noticed, so we'll see what pops up later. You guys ready to go?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Welcome to the WtW podcast. We're here to entertain and inform while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark, running with the will.
Mayor Paul for Digimon System Restore.
I'm WtW, and I am very sleepy. And I also work on Wikimon.
Which gets the priority, sleep or working on Wikimon?
Depends on if anything fun or new happened. Like, if there's been nothing new lately, I'll take a nap, because otherwise I would be dead. But if something like the Pendulum Z pops up and they release a whole bunch of Digimon at once, you bet your ass I'm up at 3 in the morning frantically making pages before anyone else tries to and screws it up.
That's the really, like, if there was nobody else editing that thing, you're fine to take it at your own pace, but you know that if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it badly.
Oddly, I think we'll talk about that when we get to it, but I think a few things actually did show up later than I expected on Wikimon. So we'll see what pops up there. How was everybody's Christmas and or random holiday?
It was solid. I spent it with the in-laws for the first time ever, and it was actually kind of fun. They're from Britain, so we did kind of a British Christmas. We even watched a panto online. It was fun.
Did you do that British thing where you pull open the crackers or whatever?
Absolutely. We did the
What
crackers.
was there a bad poem, joke, limerick in there?
I forgot what it was, but it was horrendous.
See,
And
There
my
was a
prize
man puppet.
you should
my
have given
prize my prize in the Christmas cracker was a pair of tweezers.
you should have given the note to me, and that could have been the episode title. Although I have to say, I'm really fucking proud of last week's episode title. I was way too pleased with that one. So of course
We are well aware.
that was one of the rare ones where someone goes, "I don't get the episode title. Could you explain it?" It's like the first time I have one that just like super obvious, no nonsense to it. Feliz Diginavidad was the most obvious one I've ever done.
That was a really good one.
Yeah,
I do appreciate that was I applaud that one.
yeah, yeah. And my Christmas was roughly the same. Had plush Mickey and Minnie dolls to give to my niece. I would have given one to my nephew, but being that he's 4 months old, I don't believe he would have appreciated it, and I'm pretty sure my niece would have stolen it anyways.
I
So
got a
I
Vmon.
mean, that's fair.
yeah, I believe I retweeted that. I think I saw it. It
Yeah.
was yeah.
That has a shocking number of likes, that picture. I think it's always a little strange how people like it. Like, yay, I have Vmon.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah. It was a nice looking Vmon, to be fair.
Yeah, that was an official that's from the official set.
Yeah, that's the
It's
the
got the
mini one
sticker
from
on it and
earlier this
everything.
year. The
Yep,
mini, yeah.
Yep, and it's got the sticker on it and everything. It's all legit.
Oh, good.
Aw, I want to see the Vmon.
And now, Adventure Episode 30, the Mega Digimon WarGreymon. This is a weird episode to review objectively because really it only had, no matter what the episode had, really only one thing mattered. It could have been an amazing episode, and most people are only looking at one thing here, I think. Is that safe to say, do you think?
Mm, Most people, I guess. I try to take the whole thing in perspective.
Eh.
I mean, sexy animation. We know where the budget went.
Yeah.
Well, to
Sure
be
ain't
fair,
the
we knew that.
writing.
See, I think that's gonna be my April Fool's joke. I'm gonna read all of your fics, and before the episode review that week, I will comment on everything, just for my amusement.
I will absolutely put my fics up next to the writing of this series. No doubt about it.
Yeah,
I will take that challenge.
See, it's not that I don't believe you, but most fic writers say that to whatever show they're writing about.
Considering that I told you before that I just got a comment on one of my fics. It was basically like, oh my god, you managed to turn Try into something that, like, after the horrendous writing of Try, this is a nice way to salvage it. I'm like, oh, okay. I like Try, but whatever.
Yeah, but that's almost a shrug because you like the writing of Try.
I do like the writing of Try, but like, that's the sort of comments I was like, that's the kind of quality you're dealing with.
I'm not sure that actually tells us anything about the quality, though, because we both disagree with the person's main statement. Now, the writing here was mostly about what I'd say it's about what we'd expect.
Yeah, it's the same old. There was
some interesting stuff, but mostly it was what we'd expect. It was interesting that they actually put in the effort to get Sora out. No, because here's the thing. The show easily... Here's the thing. It could have literally been... We could have had the end shot of Sora standing there watching with no prior explanation to it, and we would have gone, yep, that's this show. But it actually went with the explanation to get her out of the way 5 minutes after she showed up.
So what you're telling me is I'm giving the show more credit than you are. Like,
no,
I just
I'm
sort
giving
of assume that
it more credit.
I'm
giving it the credit that it actually went to the effort when it didn't have to.
I'm not giving them credit for explaining why they shoved Sora out of the picture. Like, that's sort of just... Hey, of course they're going to do that.
We got multiple Tentomon lines, so it automatically is good.
I don't even remember Tentomon being in this episode, to be honest. Everything Kosher, all of Koshiro's scenes were complete and utter garbage, so I just didn't really pay much attention to them.
Oh, so you actually missed the relevant exposition.
It's not relevant.
Oh,
I hate to break it to you.
I hate to break it to you that it is. I know what you mean by saying it isn't. But it is.
Nah, it's just another real world problem that Koshiro's going to deal with by himself.
Yeah, but if you didn't pay attention, though, you won't know when it comes up and if it is relevant.
Yeah.
Now let's talk.
I know where this is going because they've already done it twice, and it's just...
Now let's talk about the most important thing: General Vegemon.
Oh.
This needs to be a recurring hit. Yeah, I feel like that is one thing that everyone fucking loved, was that Vegemon, like the pantomiming, being a competent general type thing.
I'm just sort of scratching my head over it.
It actually reminds me of kind of like the sounds and motions it makes in like the old Digimon World game, where it's like, oh, he's making the glub glub noises.
But yeah, and then we get Parrotmon show up. The odd thing about Parrotmon is a lot of people seem... I'm trying to think of the way to word this. It's a lot of people are like... No, a lot of people are like, they're copying Try, and it's like, not Try, Kazuna. It's like no, they're both going off the same thing, which is the first movie.
The first Digimon Adventure.
Yes.
Yeah. The thing is, Kazuna's allowed to. I give Kazuna a pass for doing that. And it wasn't a huge factor in it. It's just sort of the token villain that shows up at the beginning. Might as well make it Parrotmon. Why not? This was a lot cheaper.
I have no issue with it. I will say this. They got rid of Parrotmon much quicker than I expected and moved on to Crossmon. For some reason, I expected Parrotmon to stick around a bit longer.
I kind of thought there'd be like a grappling scene between Greymon and Parrotmon, honestly.
Yeah, because that nostalgia factor immediately goes away
Yeah.
once Crossbond shows up.
Yeah,
And it
so
also it's kind of a big deal. I think this is the first time the lightning itself caused an evolution to ultimate by just some rando. So like that probably should be a little more
mm,
that should have gotten a little more
didn't that happen
spotlight.
a few episodes ago?
I
They must
don't
have just got like power
not
ups.
well not to ultimate because they haven't had to beat an ultimate before, or they haven't successfully beaten an ultimate before.
Okay, I'm misremembering then. But yeah, so then Metal Greymon gets the crap beat out of him. We get a quick scene that one very valid thing people have pointed out is, are they going to point out anything about the crests at all? And they didn't point out anything, but they did the thing where going, maybe the kids should start paying attention to them, where Taichi sort of just sees it in, I don't want to call it a delusion or a dream, but I'm not sure what to call that. But you know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean,
just
right?
it's sort of in
A
his
vision,
A
head.
let's say.
trip.
Yeah, a trip.
Yeah.
There you
And,
go.
yeah, and then we get
It's
uh,
well, it's I mean, we gotta that's worth talking about because that really shows why the real problem with the writing in this show is that this crest, if we're to take this series on its own, this crest means absolutely nothing.
see.
It's
I
just a
see. Here's the
symbol.
thing. In this context, I don't mind it meaning nothing in the sense that it showed it to him as long, and this has been, and I feel it's an ongoing theme slash problem where we're all at times willing to go, it's fine to not explain that or to comment on it now, but they need to eventually, and who knows.
But the issue with that is that the characters themselves aren't asking these questions.
Yeah.
Like we should be asking these questions. We're not because we're all,
Going,
we all know what this means.
But here's the thing.
But the characters themselves should have
Why
no
are
idea what this
Digivices color coded?
Yeah, they should be asking these questions. They should be wondering what these symbols
Eh,
are. They should be wondering
I
how
mean,
they're getting these powers. And
I
we're
mean,
not I don't have any faith in the show to go back and deliver these answers.
I have no issue with them not commenting on stuff being color coded because that's rarely commented on, even when there's permanent colors.
But they should. It's like maybe you should go like,
Oh.
why isn't mine pink? Pink is my favorite color.
Eh,
Color coding is common enough now that it's not that big a thing. But
yeah.
the crest absolutely should be.
Oh, yeah,
talked
they do
about.
need to comment on it at some point. And then we get Agumon and Taichi bravely running back to battle with nicer than normal animation and flashbacks. And then we get evolution to evolution. Then we get the main thing this episode had to not screw up in any way for it to work, which is, hey, look, it's time for Metal Greymon to evolve. And yes, say anything you want about anything. That was some nice animation, and even weirdly, flashbacks to it even goes back to the Agumon evolution and Digivolving Spirits toy with some aspects of that scene.
Yeah, that part was fine. Like the
way the chest
sequence. The sequence is good. The new song is great. Love the new song.
The song is.
I think it's my favorite evolution insert
I think
far.
so too. Yeah.
For the current show, absolutely. For the franchise, I need to hear it more and cleanly. But
yeah, that's fair.
It feels very much more in the vein of something like a 70s or 80s mech or shonen action song rather than more modern stuff. Or even something like you might have heard in WtW or Tamers, I would say. It very much sounded like, I don't remember the song from Tamers at the moment. But one of them it really reminded
Evo?
me of. I think Evo.
Evo, yeah, Evo's probably the closest. What I like about the sequence itself is that it is, I mean, in the original
Evo
series,
or Card Slash, one of those two.
In the original, the evolution to WarGreymon was so above everything else, just the way they busted out the CG and all that. While this one, while it looks great, it's continuing just to be a progression. It's not that much of a step up over the sequence to Metal Greymon.
See,
it doesn't deploy like it doesn't employ like CG the way the original does to really set it apart from everything else.
But I'm not sure that would set it apart anymore, though. Part of the reason why it was able to be set apart was because of how unique doing that and having it look good even was. We've
Yeah.
gotten that. Yeah, at this point, that's not
It
special anymore.
Yeah. So while this so while this is, it's again a progression, like it's continuing to be better, it doesn't feel like the last one. And I think that's a nice little I like that they went in that direction.
Yeah, I just
Like
like
this doesn't like this only feels like the next one in line instead of the pinnacle.
there were various parts to it that I just thought were interesting. Like I actually liked that they used the Alteros blade when the
Yeah.
yeah
They've worked that into the mix, yeah.
yeah and the odd part was even working in the try pose to the mix, because that pose has almost only been used in try, and since then the end of evolution kind of, you know, put up your dukes type pose.
Hmm.
Yeah, because the CGI pose he did in the original one was much more low key because CGI. And man,
It was sexy.
lot of good shading and lighting effects, very nicely detailed. I'll even be honest, I actually like the God, it almost feels like they do it in various shows to be lazy, but when they are both flying and we get these zoomed out color bursts where you get almost
Oh
no
yeah,
detail. Yeah,
like
but
the two robots clashing in space,
yeah,
kind of Gundam looking thing.
yeah, even that was nice. The WarGreymon, the Gaia Force worked really well visually.
Yeah, that was a definitely good use of Gaia Force.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I love how
and
it just leveled everything.
yes,
Which it should.
yeah, but here's the thing also, I like seeing when the show. I mean, there's a lot of issues, but one thing that for whatever reason people kept harping on was, well, is WarGreymon showing up actually going to feel special and imposing since Omegamon's already shown up? It did. There's I don't
It
have
did it did in the showmanship of it.
yes,
In the
but
actual
that's what it
context of
has to do.
in the actual context of the series itself, no. But just in the extra flourishes they put into it,
Yeah,
yes, it did.
yeah,
Because like, let's be
that's
real,
what it had to do.
if it weren't for the extra flourishes, this is a really crap episode.
I'd
This
probably
is
give
an
it.
absolutely terrible episode.
I'd probably give it a C.
Yeah, the flourishes got it up to a B minus.
Yeah, but
Other without
That's all this episode had to do was make sure WarGreymon looked as
Mhm.
cool as possible.
Yeah,
That is
because
the
let's be real here. Taichi has done absolutely nothing to deserve WarGreymon. His plan is
I
terrible.
don't care. This is looked great. That's
Yeah,
literally all this had to do,
his
and it
plan is
did.
terrible. Koshiro's the International Space Station stuff is utter garbage. It's just a bad episode, but WarGreymon's introduction is good enough to make it pass.
I loved when
Also, I
he.
like how Lobmon was just staring blankly constantly.
To be
Yeah,
fair, that might work a little better than the stereotypical just have Lopmon talk a lot stuff. So
I
we'll
mean,
see.
Lobmon's tries to be a little quieter and mysterious. That's sort of their thing.
I kind of remembered in Cross that Lopmon talking a lot. I may be misremembering
Oh yeah,
that
Cross
though.
Wars. That one
Yeah.
couldn't shut up.
Yeah.
But Gamers has always sort of
Yeah.
had an air about it.
Yeah, but the one in Cross Wars was the special mystical blah 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 one.
Yeah,
And that was the setup here.
Also, there were a bunch of them in Cross Wars,
And then they all died horribly.
Yeah, and one of the nice
They killed the bunny.
One of the nice WarGreymon touches was when he jumped, you could see the echo of the Crest of Courage behind him.
Yep.
Which was done in like a weird cartoony style that worked shockingly well. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what pops up for other characters, because it feels like this is the one going overboard that you might do for everyone, even if everyone else isn't getting proper evolution scenes. Although I'm
You
curious,
hope so.
I'm curious to see if they do the same thing with Metal Garurumon that they did with WarGreymon, because they integrated the extra crap into this scene.
Yeah.
Because
I could see them doing that with
Sagittarius mode has the wings.
Yeah.
You could have that being
You
Metal
could totally
Gurumon's
do
wings.
that. That's even easier, I think, to get to pull off.
Yeah, I'm just
So
curious to see.
let's just hope that Metal Garurumon actually has somebody interesting to fight.
Ooh, yeah.
He can fight.
I'm not giving this episode a pass. I mean,
I
I'm
think
not
you
giving
did.
this episode. I'm not
We're
going.
just here for the sexy animation scenes.
I give it a pass for WarGreymon, but I'm not ignoring all of the other stuff.
No, here's
I
the
did
problem.
Give it a pass.
You did give it a pass.
I did give it a pass.
What?
But
You said your grade was a B minus?
B minus, yeah.
Yeah, a B minus. A B minus is, man, I don't want this kid to lose his scholarship. He needs to get some sort of B in my class. That is very much giving it a pass.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, without WarGreymon, without
that
the
is the
flourishes, if it was just WarGreymon and it wasn't as sexy as it was, this episode's probably a C minus.
Yeah. And as we can see in the preview for the next episode, we do get normal animated WarGreymon.
That's right, he's showing up again right away.
Yeah, we know where the budget went. They're
yeah,
okay, time to scale back.
We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I'm glad I can go, so we can go back to not giving the show a pass next episode.
That episode title. Who knows? Yeah,
Yeah, really, that could go any direction.
Yeah, that could literally be bland, crazy, or oh god, they're really fucking doing this.
I'm still hoping for honestly gag voice actors for Millenniumon.
Yeah, honestly, it could be all three.
I want him not to talk just to see people upset about it. Just have him make roaring noises.
Do it.
When he talks, I want to be like the goofiest sounding voice. I want one head to basically be like Kevin Ghidorah.
He needs to speak like Vegemon did. Just that's all he needs to do through his entire span.
Or he's menacing. He shows up part with the episode. He's menacing the whole episode, and then it's revealed he's actually Devimon.
Go through the whole episode. He has the same voice as Kulumon.
Oh god, that'd be good. Yeah. So I think we've basically it gets a passing grade because it did what it had to do. The episode itself is otherwise whatever.
Yeah, otherwise it's really, really bad.
Dev's being attacked by her pet again.
Ow.
Yeah. Yeah, we all heard that. And then we get... Man. So, they announced store exclusives for the second current adventure Blu-ray and DVD box. They only announced the Rakuten one so far. Man, that feels like it doesn't belong with this set. Because set 2's the Sora and Yamato themed ones, and you get prints of Metal Greymon and Zudomon.
It's just like a screenshot.
Well, that's pretty normal to get nice prints of screenshots, though. That I'm not bothered by. It's that here's the thing: the Zudomon episode is in this set, and that is something that's neat. But
it's a reminder that Zudomon is in this series.
It feels like it needs to be themed to the set theme itself. Is my issue.
Yeah,
and then.
We have Metal Greymon because that's the only Digimon that shows up regularly.
And then for the 1999 through 2001 Blu-ray box, they went nuts with store exclusives, telling you how they expect stuff to sell. So we knew these before, but we hadn't seen them. Animate gets their towel with the key art. Animate Online gets acrylic blocks with yet more key art. Rakuten gets a stand with the key art again. The 7-net one, I actually like this one, the acrylic plate using the art from the WtW Blu-ray box.
And this one's not bad.
With the villains.
Yeah, I like the villains.
The face-off
cool.
art, yeah.
This one's cool.
Amazon Japan gets a wall scroll with new art of Hikari and Tailmon.
This is so much
actually
better than all of
cute.
the other ones. Like, there's
Well,
everything's so generic. I mean, the heroes villains one is good. Everything else is generic, and then you have this really cool original art.
to be fair, Amazon seems to pay for the fancy Digimon exclusives for Blu-rays and DVDs constantly.
Well,
Like
they can do that.
theirs have generally been the best, and theirs have generally been yeah. So I'm curious to see if this is like I think it was Animate for Frontier where it was new art of Fairymon that didn't show up anywhere on the set. I don't think. So I'm curious to see is this art that's going to be on the like, because one side of the packaging
Yeah.
could be the O2 kids or something, and it could be this art being there.
Yeah. I think Amazon got all the cool ones for Try as well.
Yeah, theirs were. They got the nice wall scrolls. The sixth one came with the box. Amazon has basically upped what they want, what their exclusives are, almost every time. And here we're back to what Try was, but it's also very nice. Tsutaya Records gets a clear file using the Blu-ray box art for Adventure, and Amy uses the same art, but one of those nice canvas prints. Amazon got this canvas print for Tamers that I have, and it's rather nice. The only issue I have with this is the characters are so small on that print. So, yeah, that sets out March 6th, the day before the anniversary of Adventure. Man, they planned that one out well, didn't they? Yeah. And I think it's already tied for like the top Blu-ray box that has gone through our CD Japan affiliate account. Because price-wise, this actually is good for importing raw Japanese discs. It's basically buying less than one prior Digimon Blu-ray box. So, yeah. And then they put up promo videos last night, basically just showing, key scenes, evolution scenes with a well-known song from Adventure in O2. And yeah, I kind of hate watching those because it sits there and makes me go, I could afford to get this. And it's like, you idiot, you already have everything here. Yeah, but this looks nice. It'd be one nice big box. And, I could also scan it and do stuff with that. It's like, you have it.
Remember originally when they said, like, if you already have these, this is not something you need to get. There's not going to be anything extra. And
but
then
it
they
has
do
new
this
art.
and tease you with it anyway.
Yeah, that is the problem with really good trailers. You actually do sit there and go, this is kind of nice. I could get this. And it's like, why?
Because you want the thing.
Yeah.
You already have the thing.
Yeah, but like the adventure box is often a box in a garage or storage somewhere. It's like I could have it right by the desk if I need to rip or do screenshots. And it's like the stupid thing is I'm actually sitting here going, trying to convince myself into getting it when I have all this stuff. And to be even stupider, I'm doing that with the DVDs. Because they announced they're going to re-release the original movie DVDs. These were from when the movies originally came out. They're doing them for basically under $25 each. And there actually is relevant reason to get these, even having the Blu-rays. A lot of these extras do not exist on anything new anymore. They're not on the Blu-rays. In a few cases, there's some video and audio advantages even. I'm stupidly tempted by these because they actually are cheap, and I'm tempted. And the dumb thing is looking at the affiliate stuff. If you saw the order of sales, you would just laugh. It is literally every time we go, man, it feels like they're being mean to one of these movies. The top one is WarGreymon. Both O2 movies are tied right below it. The Tamer movies are tied right below it, and not a single person has ordered the Frontier one that I can see.
Aww.
It's literally what we joke about, but actually seeing it via affiliate sales.
That makes me sad because the Frontier movie is way better than the Tamers movies.
I'm not the biggest Tamers fan, but I like the train one.
I don't like the train one as much.
I actually
It's
like
got
the Bally Adventures because I just really like the Okinawan music and just
Yeah.
it's
But
a lot of
it's just
scenery
nice.
porn in that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
yes, that's a good excuse for it.
yeah, these are the type of things though I would say if you have the money, this is one that's kind of fun to import because most of these do have actual extras. Like not often you're gonna see Hosada talking about Digimon in detail anymore. And a few of these have that, and I don't know. I like seeing the full poster art and everything. I'm probably gonna be stupid and get these. I yeah, I don't have much to say about these. I just kind of like that they're. I would prefer they'd put this stuff on Blu-ray, but it is what it is. I don't know. The price is good, so we'll see. And then everyone's favorite topic. It's time to discuss a poll.
We had some twists in this one.
Yeah, and the funny part is we actually know what's going on with the twists. So let's start
Oh,
off.
do
Yeah,
we?
we believe we do. Let's start off with
Okay.
the winner is Dukemon. Number two's WarGreymon, and Omegamon's busted down to 3.
What happened?
So here's what I believe happened based on anecdotal noticing and people oddly trying to like taunt me, like they think that it actually like means something to me, which gives me
Oh.
information so I can go and look around. So here's what appears to have happened.
I mean, I like what the people are what mocking you because we all assumed that Omegamon would win
No,
and it
no,
didn't? Oh.
like they think that when I make the jokes like on Twitter, congratulations
That
to Omegamon for his victory. They think like I actually personally care if Omegamon wins or not.
Oh, I put my comment on this one was
Yeah,
the
it was.
evil is defeated
Yeah,
.gif.
yeah. So here's what appears to have happened based on looking at information people sent me and then looking around on my own. Multiple groups that would normally try to boost single Digimons who never rank super high or rank medium all
Yikes.
accidentally decided to do Dukemon on their own just to try to boost someone who was actually popular and they might be able to move more obviously. And then, coincidentally, it looked like a
Jesus.
lot of anime people went, we're going to vote for WarGreymon because he's showing up soon, who would have otherwise voted for Omegamon. Which makes it funny because Omegamon was actually weak this time and might have potentially been beaten by people getting together to vote for someone slightly less popular.
I feel like this is reporting that should be in like Politico or something.
Yeah, so yes,
Jeez.
so that's why we get WarGreymon above him also. Is because a lot of people seem to just have gone, WarGreymon's about to vote in the anime. I normally vote for Megamon. I'm going to vote for WarGreymon. So it
Wow.
appears what happens is we have 3 of them that are higher up than everyone. But that's also why we also get a lot of weird jumps. Like you would normally expect Terriermon to be quite high up.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had people who might normally vote for Terriermon go, I'm going to vote for WarGreymon because he's showing up.
I
Or,
suppose that, because they did one very similar to this at the very beginning of all these polls, didn't
oh,
they?
and Dukemon was like 3rd.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
So
so,
I suppose this is a good one. It's like, I voted for this one last time. I'm just going to switch it up
yeah.
this time.
So what, yeah,
That makes sense.
so a lot of people who would have voted for Megamon went, I'm going to switch it, go for
Yeah.
WarGreymon.
We're Greymon.
But that seems to have happened with multiple characters, which is why you get, say, Agumon being bumped down, Terriermon being bumped down.
Yeah.
You even have stuff like I'd say you'd probably expect Holy Angemon to be higher than Seraphimon, I would say. Patamon also possibly.
Yeah. There's some
Yeah, because
interesting
they've
ones
ranked
showing up
pretty
here.
high in previous
Yeah.
polls.
And like
Yeah.
Vmon's lower than I think you would normally expect him to be.
Oh
Although
yeah.
although
Vmon is tied with Merciful Mode. That is something.
yeah. But Vmon's also unique in that he
Although
has
I'm pretty
so many.
glad Dorumon got pretty high.
Yeah, Dorumon is roughly where you'd
feels like
expect him to be,
about
to be honest. Yeah.
Dorumon seems about right in the right spot.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we had the weirdness because it seems purely by coincidentally you have 20 different groups and random groups of people all deciding to do stuff that just happen to slot together. But I will say almost no one on this list feels like, oh, that's a surprise. The closest one is probably Yuki Agumon, but he showed up in stuff recently where it feels like that's not a surprise anymore.
Yuki Agumon's shown up in a couple of, in like
Yeah.
one other of these that I
Yeah.
remember randomly. Maybe
Yeah,
it
I
was
think
like
like
the
the
best
child level poll.
Yeah.
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 So it feels like that's not a surprise anymore because we've already been surprised by him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like I guess that if anyone could beat Omegamon, it probably would have been Beelzebon, and even he's a bit lower than you would expect him to be. You would expect him to be about 4 or 5, and I'm shocked that UL Force Vtron bumping to people. It feels like people are going more and more hardcore for V-Tamer lately.
Well, there has been a lot of like V-Tamer related
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh hey, this thing exists, and it's like, hell yeah, 0.
Yeah. So yeah, not much in the way of surprises, minus just a few weird spots. Like
now based on people voting differently, I kind of wish they'd rerun this poll like every month just to see the movement, get into people's heads a little bit.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm trying to decide like what's the weirdest thing in the poll, and I feel like the two most weird to me is just how far apart Dukemon and Crimson Mode are.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it was Dev who said it. It feels kind of weird to go, there's Vmon, and then Merciful Mode's right there. I would have expected Vmon to be higher.
Tied with Holy Dramon in there too, in that same spot, and in Examon. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Imperial Dramon, that's fair.
But yeah, I would expect Vmon to be higher than most of these, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Although Vmon has a unique flaw in polls, I think, which is almost all of Vmon's forms are actually popular.
Yeah.
So, like, you have 3 Imperial Dramons to vote for. And stuff like that.
Vmon's on there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one of those where you kind of wonder what the next 50 are, because I could see Fladramon, Raydramon, just, yeah, and Magnamon's high up there around, where's Magnamon? Magnamon's tied for 7th with Mugandramon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, yeah, interesting results. No one really we normally get like one Digimon showing up that's interesting. I don't feel like there's any here. A few people seemed really shocked that Ragnalordmon showed up.
That's a little interesting to me.
See, to me, it's
like
not.
That one isn't top of mind, but
to me, it's not for one reason. It's a not Omegamon, and those always become very popular very quickly.
Well, that, and he's also had art in the card game recently, which
yeah,
was,
that's
true.
That was great art. That was great art. I forgot about that. Yeah,
it's like, oh hey, this character exists, and he was like recently relevant. So
and that's all it takes, really.
Yep. Now,
like if it's just on the top of your mind.
Yeah. Now, do you think they'll do this again next year, and then we get to compare and contrast?
Like I said, I wish they.
I don't see why not.
I wish you could vote for like 5.
Yeah, it would be nice if you could actually not just do what's the one, if you could vote for a group. Because then we could all prank them just voting for every Omegamon we can think of. Yeah, so interesting list this time, I think, though, honestly. And then, okay, this is where I almost forgot this was happening, even though we knew it was going to take a long time, is the Memorial Story crowdfunding crap shipped, and on schedule despite the crazy year that is 2020. People have been posting photos of getting stuff, and importing stuff out of Japan's kind of a pain at the moment, so I know various people who are waiting for packages. I have to check with my person to see if mine's shown up yet at all. Because they have more stuff they've been holding for me for like the entire year because of how much of a pain shipping out of Japan is at the moment.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. And then we knew 5 people paid roughly $3,000 for the top tier, which the main part of the top tier was Kenji Watanabe has a conversation with you and then designs your Digimon partner, and 2 people so far have shared theirs. Gyo-chan shared Ganvivermon, and Show shared Extramon. Yeah,
They're both so cute.
yeah, both really nice. Very nice of them to share stuff. The Gyachan even shared more art initially, and even gave a message to
Yeah.
share.
And
Late,
Vivermon's really
yeah.
they're really cute Digimon too.
Now, what's interesting is Ganvivermon looked roughly the same with the rough draft, more or less.
Yeah.
Extramon, he feels more stereotypical child Digimon in the early art.
Yeah.
While I don't want to say they stretched out, that's not quite right, but the proportions have shifted a bit more human-y, if that makes sense.
No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's a
So
little more life to them.
yeah, both of those very nice, and in theory, there's still 3 more of these out there, but who knows if because they don't have to share them.
Yeah.
The weird thing, of course, is there could be Digimon that if we don't see the last 3, there could be Digimon that show up in the future that could be these, and we might not know. Because one thing that was very clear was Bandai keeps the legal copyright and everything for these. These are not owned
Oh
by
yeah. The
yeah.
fan design Digimon have shown up in the
Yeah.
anime before.
No,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah, of course,
totally in play.
but well, that is the one thing that people have been confused about with this. These are not fan designed, just to be clear. These are
Well, it's
designed
fan
by Kenji
suggested.
Watanabe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah,
But even then, like actual fan design
yeah,
Digimon have shown up before.
yeah. Soundbirdmon being the most relevant in recent memory.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
that one was. Yeah.
yeah. So it'll be. That's where it gets weird. Like I said though, because there's 3 of these, and they may have shown up already for all we know. The weird dog one that shows up in the next episode could be one of those for all we know.
Absolutely.
So
Watch to find out Nidogmon was a fan suggested one.
but yeah, so I really like these. I don't want to say that I like one over the other, but I think Ganvivermon's the one that I like better, if I'm being completely honest.
Ganvivermon has more personality.
It also has a very
Like, you can
Atmon vibe to it.
It really does. If you look at it and like, okay, this has a role. Like you can kind of
Yeah.
mentally imagine where this would end up going in a
E-
story.
Yeah, Extramon
Extramon
feels
is just
very
sort of
stereotypical partner.
yeah. Extramon is someone's partner.
Yeah.
Well, also keep in mind they're making plush
Yes.
of these Digimon, so I want to
Yeah.
see what those end up
Yeah,
looking like.
that's the only thing that's been delayed, and even it was commented on by Kenji Watanabe. They should have them soon, hopefully. It's what because especially when you're doing one-off, you can't really cut any corners because the entire point is to have them be nice.
That and like as someone who's made custom plush and follows like other people that do the same thing, pattern making for something like that is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So like a lot of your energy is going into like doing it again and again and trying to get the right shape and proportions because like when it's just a 2D object, it looks fine, but then when you stuff it, it's like, okay, it's not quite how I wanted it.
And Bandai still probably has to go through their safety checks and everything. So, yeah. I'm looking for I hope we get to see the plushes in the other 3, but we will see. And then Vital Bracelet updates, and everyone kind of went fucking nuts. So, I don't think we have much.
It's nothing that's completely unexpected.
Well, so first there's the Mon memo. I don't think much was said here that was interesting, minus that they confirmed that the one mystery Digimon in the Vmon chart is someone we know. There's 3 or 4 Digimon I think you can safely guess it's one of them. Yeah, like, here's the thing. Fighter mode, Paladin mode, Gran Kuwagamon. I feel like those are the safest bets.
Yeah.
And then the FAQ, that's when people went nuts, and there's nothing surprising here at all, I don't think. I mean, not waterproof or drip proof, that's not abnormal for this stuff. That has legal connotations and, testing connotations. The
Mm-hmm.
batteries are a bit low for this, but also these are cheap ones, and we knew that. So 18 hours per day with an hour of actual playing. Charging takes 4 hours. DIM cards locked to the one they're put in, which I'm actually surprised how many people were shocked by that. I think a lot of people had the idea that they were going to get a DIM card and then just like bam, bam,
Give it
bam,
to all their
bam, bam in
friends.
between
Yeah.
all their friends. That was never
Mm-hmm.
I
going
could
to
see
happen.
No.
locking it to like one account since you need like a Bandai account to use these
Yeah.
or something like
Oh,
that.
well, here's the thing. And you might wonder, well, why would they do that? That seems wrong. And then after it's announced, people are already trying to figure out how they're going to get around it. Like, oh, well,
Yeah.
we can manipulate the reset rules, which they've already said, you will be able to move it if something comes up. And people are going, oh, we can manipulate that easily. It's like, yes, that's why they're being pains in
That.
the asses.
Yeah.
You've given the explanation.
Yeah.
Um,
You've basically you've justified them
yeah.
restricting these.
Now, the oddest thing, and a lot of people wondered this if beforehand because they were being kind of cagey about the communication, you have to use NFC, which is kind of a like. Remember when I said that it feels like this is a bit cheap for a fitness tracker?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the nice thing about having low power Bluetooth is it just syncs. NFC means you have to, make sure
Mm-hmm.
it's close to your device. It can only sync when you're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand why they're doing it, but it feels like using low powered Bluetooth would have just been nicer. Plus, not every phone has NFC,
Yeah.
which mean,
Pretty much
and
everything has Bluetooth at this point.
yeah, and they've actually clarified that without NFC, it is still like a fitness tracker VPET thing. You just can't do the app stuff, but it does work
Yeah.
standalone at the least. Um, yeah, it's nothing that shocking to be honest. I like them clarifying that it will not work with iPads because there are no iPads with NFC.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, at very least they clarified that stuff. They still haven't quite clarified language details. Every once in a while, if you look in the promo videos, you do see English on things that are not menu based. So we will see. But yeah. Okay, so AR, have you ordered any of these?
Not yet. I'm waiting to think about if I'm
Dev,
actually
have you
going
ordered
to
them?
use them.
See if like something else comes up, like a different version of it with other colors, or like premium Bandai USA release where it's like, hey, this will actually work with your shit.
I have two on pre-order. I decided I'll get the pre-order in Amazon Japan and I'll see what comes up because can always cancel if need be, or if I know someone who needs one, I can always just keep the pre-order open. So I can't imagine I'd use it. VPETs aren't my thing at the best of times. So yeah, but yeah, nothing that shocking overall to be honest. But we will see. And then not as much card stuff as lately, but still quite a bit. We got a bunch of English card previews, and the Tamer Party event cards are the apparel cards, which it feels kind of weird to get these so quickly, doesn't it? We didn't even know about these a month ago, and they're already going to be here in a month. So kind of neat, but yeah. Few different card shows were done. They have seemingly gotten rid of using Cody and Hideyoshi on the English version of Fun Digica and just gone with English hosts, which doesn't feel like that big of a shock, but yeah. They announced an online tournament or online event using the Bandai online service. Um, it's just going to be like a meeting event, not quite. It's people can do the matches on their own. Staff will help, and you can buy a playmat early. I don't know why the playmat amuses me. I think it's because the art is some of the oldest art we have for this card game. Even though it looks nice, a lot of people really don't like the color. I would say it's probably a bit harsh on the eyes.
Yeah, it's a little overly saturated.
If you pre-order it at the online event, you get it in February. It will be sold on Premium Bandai and shipped in June, which is an interesting way to get people to sign up for the event. So we will see. That's it for card game stuff for now. And then the fun surprise was, hey, you can get V-Tamer Volume 1 and 2 for free. Which also explains why they plan to do the new chapter on the same day. And why they were surprised. Yeah. So these are separate listings, but the content's the same. If you don't deal with VPNs or anything, Bookwalker, you can use an English account on the Japanese site and get these if you want them. And I've already seen multiple people go, yeah, I got them, and then I just went, might as well buy the rest, and proven the reason why doing this was relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because might as well get the new chapter in which comes with Volume 9, which is the crossover with Adventure. And oddly, it was they were giving away like hundreds of volumes of manga on Amazon Japan, and V-Tamer was in the top 70, which is kind of surprising when you consider like some had
How
like
old
5.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like some had 5, 10 volumes being given away if they were super long. So to even be that high is like it's right in front of Holic. Do you pronounce the X in that title that show or not?
I
don't
do
know.
not. I've been told no.
Okay.
I've been told no also.
Yeah,
It's
so-
just a
Okay, that's what I thought.
fancy little.
It's clamp being clamp.
It's an affectation. So
Yeah.
these will be up through January 8th. You should grab them. There's no reason not to grab them. That's my general view. They're not in English, but hey, you get the art cleanly. I don't know why I got them. I already had the paid volumes. So, yeah. And then
Because why not?
Yeah, and then back to Christmas, we got the new Bandai Christmas art this year, which is WarGreymon just as Santa, Metal Grumon just as Rudolph, with an Agumon cake.
And bubble teas.
Bubble teas.
And the macaroons they were selling earlier this year.
Macarons, yeah.
Yeah.
And
And then they had a photo of Masako Nozawa with the Digimon Christmas cakes.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I want cake.
And then the talk and amusement of people on Twitter, the Digimon Christmas contest, when I went, hey, everyone, this is the tweet you do to enter if you want to. And then I get a tweet back saying I won, and I'm like, wait, I thought
No.
I thought you had to do a hashtag.
I did
Apparently
it,
didn't.
Too.
No, you just need to retweet it.
Yeah.
And they will retweet you back and tell you lost.
Yes, and once I did that and won, people went nuts, even outside of Japan, because they're like, you can win if you're outside Japan. And to be fair, the only reason why I can technically win is I could have someone in Japan give their information in the form.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get to look forward to my prize of a random starter deck and Hacker's Memory on the Switch.
Don't you have that already?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have it, reviewed it on a shelf, not sure where it is.
But I assume you'd probably get the Japanese version too.
Yes, but this time I get it in a language I don't know.
Yep.
Hey, I'm very pleased I won, and I feel very bad that at first I eventually had to tweet out because people were going, I think I won a Blu-ray. What do I do? It's like, no. If you have the Blu-ray image, the message is you lost.
Yeah, if it's the best way to tell is the emoji in the text. If it's a teardrop or sweat drop or whatever, that means you lost.
Yeah,
I lost 3 times. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, and after I tweeted the second day, someone actually messaged me like, leave the prizes for the rest of us. It's like, I have to let people know, because that's the thing is, there's no way to let people know this is the thing if you don't retweet it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was very surprised that I won. Like, very. And then a few more photos this week. We have a booth photo with a tiny Metal Greymon toy. And it mentioned that a bit of punch-up was done by Koshiro's actor, this week, basically adding some Kanzai dialect stuff for Tentomon, and Takahiro Sakurai judged it. It didn't mention how he judged it, though. I feel like that's an important thing that has to be mentioned. And then Asmaria got a sample of the Mugendramon kit for him to look over. He took photos of it, and I like how he pointed out the eye is basically a basic separate piece, so you can put in a LED to make the eye shine.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
I'm totally going to do that because
Oh,
I have
I'm
a
gonna.
friend that
Yeah.
I have a friend that does that.
Yeah, and
Just looking at these pictures, this one shot very high up my list. So
yeah, and he also
yeah,
pointed out the cannon spinning around. He didn't seem to know if it was done on purpose to reference it, but that's what Mugendramon in the early games had, was the cannons the other way, and he'd spin them around to shoot you in the face. So yeah, I feel like once people saw the test shot, it really did jump. The only thing to note here, I don't know if this is completely unpainted and untweaked because Asmaria likes model kits. So like we know he swapped out the eye thing for an LED. This may not be what it looks like the pieces out of the box, just to make everyone aware of that. I don't, yeah. Then we have our episode 30 art. The social art coming back this week has been a nice surprise for everyone. It felt like it's been a while since we got a new one. We get WarGreymon doing a rushing attack that I don't think he did in the episode. Did he? I don't think he did.
Kind of flew around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
enough.
it wasn't like a named attack or anything, but yeah, he did a lot of slash and
close
hack.
enough. Then Kenji Watanabe continues the run of amazing art with WarGreymon, Taichi on him, being lit by a crest of courage sun. The lighting on this is really strange and nice. Like it really works well.
I also like the kind of like perspective with the like the foreground claw like kind of blurred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really cool, especially contrasting the episode itself, which was at night.
Was it?
Just getting that. Yeah, it was twilight, yeah. Pre-dawn, I guess, was the...
Okay, I don't remember that at all, to be honest. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't, I just don't remember.
It was dark outside.
Okay, fair enough. Then we got a thank you message from Kazuna, which feels like it's hinted, at least to me, it feels like something's being hinted at here. So the first message uses the Kazuna theatrical poster art, and it goes over 2020, and then the second image is the home video release and goes over more, and the third image is just the original teaser poster. There was no message, but it also goes back to using the generic no title logo. Does it feel like, am I imagining it, or does it feel like something's hinted at here?
I think it's dangerous to speculate.
Well, yes, but that's the fun of doing it here. Because here's the thing.
It could be. It also could be like, let's just go.
Fun.
Let's end where we started.
Yeah, but it's the logo that makes me eyeball it a bit funny. Because you would think they would use the version with the actual Kazuna text, and instead it's the one that's just sort of Digimon Adventure the movie. And it makes me wonder. It doesn't say anything, but I do kind of wonder if we've just been sort of like how they were fucking with us with Pumpmon and Gatsumon a year or so ago. Where like they were doing stuff with them constantly, and then we realized we had been set up. So it just kind of makes me wonder if they're doing that again here. In fact, they did it with the same fucking image, now that I'm thinking about it. So, yeah, I don't know. The movie did very well, and we'll see what pops up. And then the traditional Digimon Web, Bandai, Twitter, New Year's art, thank you image, Morphemon, Agumon, and Vmon. There really aren't three more Digimon for 2020, are there?
I mean, unless you want to count the VB guy.
Yeah, but he's the one I expect to see here next year.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, because it's not literally like officially.
Yeah, I suppose it's not actually out yet. So
yeah. And and the message even mentions that being in 2021. So if Pulsemon or one of his evolutions is not here next year, I think we can complain about it. But for now, I think it makes sense for him not to be. Morphemon sure does seem happy though. Yeah, and then
Like,
we
I died.
Yeah, got a rough break in his movie.
to be fair, she was dead before the
Yeah.
movie. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I
so
mean. Like, that's a rough break.
yeah, and
Like, my
then
only appearance was dying horribly in front of a small child
oh
and
my god,
traumatizing them forever.
oh my god, do you
Mm-hmm.
realize who Morphemon is? She's RoboCop. She
Hmm.
died. She was brought back as a robot cyborg thing.
No, just move on.
Had a she had a
No.
blaster.
No. Questions.
Manoa
Yeah.
couldn't move on.
Yeah, in the
Put
chat.
your questions in the chat.
Yeah. Okay, so the first question that was sent in ahead of time was, did Digimon do well in 2020? It would be hard to argue that this wasn't one of the top years for the franchise since the early days of the anime, regardless of what we want to argue about quality on stuff.
I kind of want to put a pin in that and come back to it later. Like, I want to see. I'd like to know. Like, Kazuna did fantastic. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about that. But I want to know kind of what. I really can't judge this year without knowing what the legacy of the current series is going to be, and how well the VB does, and if the card game continues its forward momentum
But
before
see,
really.
but that's the thing. For 2020, they all did well. Even if, for example, I don't play the card game, I have no plans to. As a
Yeah,
card
Yeah,
like
game,
it
it doesn't
seems
mean
like
anything to
set
me.
sold out repeatedly.
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say it's a. I'd say it's a good year
Oh, here's the thing.
right
It could
now,
tank in 2021. I'm just saying for 2020, it's
but
hard
this
to
is
argue this
this
isn't
is
one.
where there's a lot of foundations being built right now. Is what
Yes,
I'm saying, and I think the
but
success of
none of
this
them
year
have
depends on
failed, is what I would say.
how well those foundations hold up.
Fair enough. And then let's go to a question from the chat. Okay, Emerald Dragon wants to know, do we think Adventure will bleed into O2? I mean,
Who the
Yeah,
fuck knows?
I find it's really hard to imagine how this series would work, how O2 would fold into this series, the way
O2
it's
O2
being written
elements,
now.
sure, but I think part of the reason
Yeah,
why you do
elements
part of
okay, but
yeah, I think part of the reason
like
you
the
do
cut,
this
like the
show is to not do O2. And I don't mean that in an
yeah,
insulting way, but part of the reason why they're rebooting is they can't really jump back to Adventure.
yeah,
They're kind of
like
precluded by doing that from the show by the timeline that's been set. The reason why we keep getting Try and then Kazuna is that's the only time they are free to kind of do what they want.
And this series, for as much as I complain about what they're doing with Taichi's character lets you kind of get away with it based
Yes.
on how he's written in Adventure. I don't think you can get away with that with Daisuke.
Yeah, with O2, it's almost a slice of life show that has the occasional fight.
The best thing about O2 is the character interactions. And
Yes.
that's what's so sorely lacking in this series. Like, the original Adventure is all about the characters themselves.
Yeah.
And you can, they're not doing it well, but you can kind of get away with that since it is very much on the
Yeah.
basis of an individual. With 02, it's all about the interactions, and that's completely lacking here.
Yeah, and then the next one that was sent ahead of time was, what was your anime of 2020? I feel like I have to skip this one because I think the only thing that I like outside of work, I think the only thing I watched through that wasn't just the new adventure was I watched the new Lupin movie, but even I normally work on Lupin. There's very little I watched this year, enough that I can feel like I can comment on that wasn't work.
I
So yeah,
cannot name a single anime that came out in 2020 other than the new adventure. Like, I'm like completely drawing a blank. I know I didn't watch anything new. Like, if I was to name the anime of 2020 as far as what I watched, it would be Agretzko. And I know that's earlier than that.
I mean I think there was new Agretzko in 2020
Oh, there
though.
was a new season of it, but it's an older there was season 3 came
I
out this
I
year,
think
but
I think if you want to say whatever season you watch this year, I think that's fine.
I guess. Because
Because
yeah, it's
there's
like it
I
seems
mean,
like
the
it
only
was all
things I really watched were like My Hero Academia, Digimon, and I saw Promare in 2020.
okay,
So
okay.
it
But
kind of
yeah, like
counts.
those are new seasons of stuff. It's like I can't think of any new properties jumping out at
oh
me
no,
right now
old
that
stuff's
actually would stand out.
see. See, I guess I read it as just anything we happened to watch this year.
Okay, yeah, if that's the case, then I think I started Agretzko this year.
I
I
mean,
know I got through it
would
all
it be
because
cheating if we just all said Kazuna?
yeah, right.
Because
Like
that may have
if we're talking about new stuff for 2020, yeah,
yeah.
it has to be Kazuna because otherwise the only new anime I watched this year was New Adventure, and that sure as hell isn't making my top list.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that goes back to, I'm even skimming the stuff I worked on to say like, oh, Cagliostro. That's a cheating answer if there ever was one. Just picking a Miyazaki
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think we watched much anime in general this year. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
um,
this year was kind of a bit of a clusterfuck.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Yeah, and I can't think of any new properties
yeah.
that were launched this year.
It's great of me
I
to
mean,
go.
even before I was working to death, the only thing I was really doing was playing Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
my wife is playing Animal Crossing right now in this room.
yeah. And then let's see. Okay, did we answer something like this a few weeks ago? Ramon asked, "What's our favorite Digimon product 2020?"
I think we answered that.
Yeah, I think we did that last
Well, that was
week.
our favorite Digimon product that we acquired this year.
Okay, so this is okay. Favorite of 2020?
I didn't acquire any new Digimon products this year,
Yeah,
so
you did.
same new
Vmon
product.
plush.
That was released before though. Did
No,
that come out this year? I thought
yeah,
that came out last year.
that was like January, I think.
This year is so freaking long. I can't keep track anymore. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I'm actually pulling that up to see because I'm pretty
I
sure.
thought it was. I thought it
Okay,
was last
it
year.
was announced in December, coming out February 2020.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you
So,
go. By
uh,
default.
I vote for Vmon plush also.
Okay.
Or maybe that fat Lopmon cushion that everyone went nuts for. Everyone like
Still need
real
to get that because it keeps going
Mm.
on back order when I
Mm.
finally have money.
yeah, everyone went nuts for that and the sleeping Tokomon.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think those were in the same wave actually, weren't they? I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Then someone wanted to know, is it not possible to make the whole show look like the WarGreymon stuff? Absolutely not.
Apparently not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it is a
that's
weekly show.
expensive.
Yeah, that doesn't generally happen with shows that are only 10 or 11 episodes long. It's not happening with have to keep going week by week. Um, then someone wanted to know, why didn't Pentomon disappear first in Kazuna? Because Koshiro's unsure and does random stuff. I'm not
That's
bothered by
a
that.
much longer answer that I'm not really
Yeah,
prepared for.
that,
I
that's why
think
I
that
gave the
speaks
short
to
one.
more. Yeah, I think that speaks. I mean, a lot of it's just plot contrivance, but I mean, I think that would say a lot about Koshiro
It's
not
always
being.
plot contrivance,
It is,
realistically, though.
but something about Koshiro not being quite as ready to enter adulthood as he lets on sometimes. That's the
Yeah,
BS answer that the writers would give.
yeah. And then someone wanted to know, what did we think of the Hunter scene where everyone shows up in Digiquartz?
This is random question, but
It was a nice scene. I liked
it
it. It
was
was
It
neat.
was the only scene worth watching for Hunters, and then I pretended it didn't exist.
My favorite part of that scene is still, well, the A answer is getting to see all the evolutions done in real time because they didn't have the
yep,
budget to
yep,
reanimate them.
yep,
And B, where Tentomon actually pops out to explain stuff and then he's just gone.
yep. That was a good one.
We
I
actually get
like
Zenjiro reacting to it.
the real time scene was also great because you had Takato and Takuya doing their evolutions in front of the other Cross Wars kids, and they're just watching them like naked,
Yeah.
merging with,
Well,
turning into their Digimon,
well
while
that
like Nene and you are just going, ah.
That's what Tentomon was commenting on, I think.
I think
He was explaining
something. Yeah,
Frontier, I think, wasn't it?
he was
He
either
uses the
explaining.
spirits to evolve into a Digimon, and then he's
Yeah,
just
either he was
gone
explaining
into
Frontier, or he was explaining
I think it was
how
Frontier.
Jogres and or it was how Jogres and Digicross are different. It was one of those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
And
just
then
delighted seeing Masaru punch things.
Yep, that too. That's always gonna. I still have a gif of that. Just Masaru punching out 3.
Yeah.
Pantomon.
And then someone wanted to know, after the question last week, do we think Digimon Survive will come out in 2021?
It better.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and I'll be 100% honest here. I don't believe the delay this year was really coronavirus related.
No. I
It
don't think so
doesn't
either.
feel like it was. It feels like that's a convenient excuse. But that is a valid excuse to use this year, whether it really is or not.
Sure.
But that excuse is gone now.
Yeah.
They said 2021.
They did say that there were other reasons that they had to rejigger some things. So it was only part of the excuse.
See, here's
but
the thing.
It's what they led with.
Here's the thing. The way that read came across more that they were referring to the last time they were rejiggering everything, rather than doing it again. It came across more as, well, we already redid this in the past, and there's blah 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 blah. But if it doesn't come out in 2021, I don't think there's any goodwill or excuse they can use at that point.
Yeah.
Like unless they
you just fucked up making a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the answer is it better.
Yes.
Like that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not gonna. I can only bring up Paprium so much. People looked that up after I discussed it last time, and they were shocked at just how crazy it was. And there's now charts of what systems will play that stupid game. Because it doesn't run.
It's not a Genesis exclusive?
Oh, it is. It will only play on some Genesises. Because the Genesis was a system that had...
It's an exclusive Genesis exclusive.
But, it apparently won't play on the original one. If I were to get it, it wouldn't play on the one that I have. Not that I'm going to spend $200 on that crap. I have Streets of Rage. I'm happy with that. Someone wants to know, did I or WtW end up pre-ordering the Versus figure? I did not. Last I know, Dev was very tempted. It had to do with money on her part. Dev, have you pre-ordered
I still have a couple of days to decide.
Yeah, that's like this week, isn't it? Yeah,
I think the 4th.
I'm pulling it up now to see.
But also paydays this week.
Oh,
so...
you have until the 3rd, Dev. Which means, wait, that's even better. The 3rd is next Sunday, which means the day after you're going to have to deal with this question again. Because someone's going to ask. And if not, I'm going to ask it.
I mean, I finally actually just took my Anjuamon gem figure out of the box to put on the shelf because I said, fuck it, I just want my figures up and out.
Yeah. Let's see. That question we won't answer because that was one that was sent in ahead of time. I think 10 different people sent in that question, so that will be answered in a moment. And then someone wants...
That's a good final question.
It is, but that's...
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah, that's been... That, there's a dozen of those were sent in almost identically. Then Michael wants to know, he's been told to never watch Atmon. Do we agree? No!
Absolutely not. Atmon is fantastic.
I wouldn't say it's fantastic.
I would say it's fantastic.
I still need to finish watching Atmon because it starts a little bit slow.
It's
Atmon
fantastic
fun,
for a Digimon series.
No,
it's a lot of fun. It's got fantastic. It's got great characters. It's a lot better than this. A lot better than the new series.
I'd say I have it dueling with the new series. The character stuff is better, but Atmon really gets bogged down.
A lot. It really does, but even when it's bogged down,
no, I agree.
Fun.
But it's
even when it's bogged down and being really annoying, it's still entertaining to watch.
I also feel
makes up for a lot for me.
I also feel slightly spiteful over some of the bad translations, even more so than in the current show.
That's fair. That's
Like
fair.
like
But yeah,
the
to put it this way, like, take all of the different Digimon series. Appmon, out of
Atmon's a
10,
good one.
Appmon is ranked 3rd for me, and the current adventure reboot is currently ranked 8th.
But that could just be bad judgment on your part.
It's not, though, because you if it's bad judgment, if you think I have bad judgment, you're the one who put me on this podcast.
I mean, he put me on this podcast, so
You have good judgment.
Here's the thing. The one thing
are
I
you
really
sure about that?
the one thing I really do
I'm friends with you.
I've never cared if someone's going to agree with me on the podcast or not. Ever. I mean, having Jeff for the Kazuna episode, Jeff disagreed with me almost 180 degrees exactly on Try. It could have very well been me and AR arguing with Jeff the whole episode. Theoretically. I believe Jeff really liked the movie, but
Yeah,
I didn't
he
know that
really liked
before
the movie.
doing the episode.
Jeff has pretty good taste. He doesn't like the reboot either.
I mean, he doesn't like... Trying to listen to Jeff talk about Try is almost unlistenable, to be honest.
He has.
He
don't agree.
goes,
I don't
he
agree
goes
with him
ranty.
on Try, but I don't agree with him on Try. But
he makes great points about it.
He elocutes his points about Try better than most critics of
He
Try.
He does, but it gets a bit too ranty for me, at least. A bit too mocking of people who like it.
Mm.
You haven't done that, have you, AR?
I try not to unless they come at me.
You did it once.
At least
by
as far
you did
as-
it once by accident.
At least as far as far as if it's somebody who does not like something, I will rant them about why it's good.
Yeah.
If somebody likes something, unless they come at me, I'll try to let them enjoy things.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely watch Atmon. It looks like Michael's already added it to his watch list. Atmon's definitely worth a watch. And here's the thing, it's worth a watch even if you end up not liking it, because then you can go, okay, it wasn't for me. At least you found out on your own.
He said something about not being able to get through Hunters. It's way better than Hunters. I think we can agree on that.
Here's the thing. Hunters is week-to-week monster bashing in a different vein than the current show.
Yeah, Hunters is at the bottom of the list for me.
I believe you mean Emmy-nominated Hunters. Here's the thing. I would like to say that joke.
Gets old.
It never gets old because it's true is the worst part.
I know. That's wonderful. It's incredible.
Yeah. So yeah, Hunters is a battle anime in a different vein than Adventure. It is 100% easy to understand why people don't like it. I don't like it, but I also understand why a lot of people will go, I love Hunters because blah, 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 blah.
There are reasons to like Hunters.
Yes.
It's just,
here's the thing.
doesn't really hold up that well in the Digimon.
I don't think it held up when it aired, to be honest.
Oh, no, it really didn't.
But I also understand why someone would really like it. Here's the thing. It may do week-to-week battling better than the current show.
In a weird way, you're right.
Yeah.
Hunters doesn't get enough credit for some of the battling sequences that it had.
Yeah. Okay, and actually, Michael followed up his Atmon wondering just what did we think of Tamers rank-wise. Tamers,
Tamers is number 1 for me.
Yeah, I put Tamers high-ish, but not, at the top. Tamers has issues with what it wants to tell, and part of that is because the head writer was not interested in various things which everyone else very much was. I don't care about the Ryo stuff. Many people do. He wasn't interested in it. He wasn't interested in the Beelzebumon stuff, which is what everyone loves the most.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a bit of a red flag there because the Beelzebumon stuff was really good.
So Tamers to me comes across as kind of manic in what it wants to do because it does flip between the head writer paying attention and not.
I think going back to this, tying it into this episode, I put this in my review that you notice how each season kind of focuses on a different type of relationship that powers evolution. And the only one I can kind of see in this reboot is a kid's bond with their Digimon. And that's where this one loses a lot of points because Tamers was really focused on the relationship between the kids and their Digimon. And they had such well-rounded relationships and such different relationships that you look at the relationships like that Tai has with Agumon in this series, and is so flat compared to Tamers.
See, I agree with you, except one key element. Anytime I try to think of the Tamers relationships, 2018 pops into my head.
Well, I'm not talking
And
about 2018.
no, neither am I. But the problem is you had the guy in charge go back and set up more, and it just pops in my head just kind of how, because it's not nonsensical. It makes perfect sense. It's also kind of horrible for what Tamers is and how Tamers ended, which bothers me extra because he stuck the landing on Tamers so well that
that's the thing is when you stick the landing, it's really hard to continue it, and that's I think what the problem with 2018 is.
But that's also why stuff like those last few adventure audio dramas for the Frontier one makes sense in that they're having fun rather than trying.
It didn't try to continue the story. It just sort of tacks it on and has these extra fun little side stuff. Yeah.
And this is everyone's last chance to throw in questions. We have one more in the chat and then the final one, so throw them in if you have them. Twin Swords wants to know, how do we decide what terms names use? Whatever. Most of the time I skew Japanese just because, I don't know. If I'm talking about the dub, I use the dub. And some things that I mean, we had the conversation about Roto Nightmon just a few weeks ago. That's not one that's associated with either, and to me it just makes sense to keep the puns. The various puns.
Yeah.
So like generally speaking, I skew to using the one exception. I think I use Omegamon almost all the time. Unless it's something that actually requires Omnimon.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I'm talking to someone who doesn't know the Japanese terms, I stick with the Japanese terms because aside from like the original Adventure, I've watched all of the series in Japanese first as they aired. So it's like
Yeah. See, I watched almost everything in English first, so I tend to, in my head, I usually start with the English and then convert, but I'm getting pretty good at converting. I tend to do that pretty seamlessly. I try to be as seamless as I can with referring to Japanese
I have a horrible worn VHS copy of Movie 3.
Oh, I've got a VHS copy of Movie 4.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have
I think I have movies 4, 5, and 6 on there. Now that I think about it.
The tape I have of Movie 3 is a raw VHS tape, and I specifically remember the first time I watched it, which was before we got Digimon the movie here. I got back from school. The tape had shown up. I put it in to watch it, and then I woke up a few hours later, and I'm 100% not joking.
My first time.
Was anyone else here on Meg Chan's email list for?
I don't think it was on the mailing list, but
I wasn't on the mailing list, but I would email back and forth with her. There's so
how she's doing.
The last time I checked, they were doing fine. I don't think they're that wanting to be involved anymore, though. So that's it for those in the chat. So now we have the final one, which I think was in the chat 2 times. It was in Curious Cat 8 or 9 times. It was in email a couple times. Variations of any Digimon expectations, hopes, blah, 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 so forth for 2021. I mean, we have new V-Pet thing. We have various English V-Pets that appear to be coming out. We have figures. We have a show ongoing. We theoretically have a game. And I think theoretically, because I think last year we said, yeah, we definitely have Survivor 2020, and that spun out of control. So we allegedly have a game coming out next year.
I mean, they'll probably like re-release Cyber Sleuth again on maybe phones or something.
I honestly believe the reason why I'm getting Cyber Sleuth is they intended to give away Survive and just couldn't. So, I mean, here's the thing. Show's continuing. The show, based on what we know, it almost has to run through most of the year. We'll see what happens after that. There's a lot of possibilities. without guessing, there's very little.
my hope. I'm not going to do expectations because I think we kind of most
Did
things
that,
are kind of things are kind of
in
set in place for
flux. Yeah.
2021, so we kind of know what to expect for the most part. My hope is I want them to announce something. I want them to be weird again and just announce something that's kind of unexpected, maybe something we're going to scratch our heads at
Oh,
and
okay.
just
I
go,
got one. I got one that everyone will agree with. Well, everyone who currently has a mic and is on the podcast. They they I can't remember. They sandpaper down the edges that seems to bother various staff members regarding crossovers. Let's make 2021 the year that they decide to just shove in Atmon.
"Oh, there
Atmon's
you go."
done. It's probably not coming back. Let's just go ahead and have them there for use.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I think that would qualify under my wish of doing something weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically just kind of do something out of left field, maybe just a little weird and fun, and something that might not be as received as widely as.
I thought of what they should do. Okay, I actually thought of a good one. Are you ready?
Okay,
Make a
Okay,
Millennium plushie.
hell no. So we have
that would work if it was in the crystal.
we have the bracelet coming out. So that's the big fancy one that in theory is getting a general release. But it's also so different from the V-Pets that I can see them continuing the premium Bandai junk. Go back to the original shell again with the 20th anniversary programming and have it just be Atmon.
That would be fun.
Integrate them in the brand by having the first thing like that just be a 20th anniversary V-Pet or a Pendulum that's just all Atmon. Minus
Ooh.
that they would certainly hide in Agumon and Gabumon.
Okay.
So yeah, do that and have it be called the Digimon A or Digimon
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, that's weird enough.
Yeah.
I'd settle for that.
Universal something or other.
Yeah, I think that's where it gets too cutesy if you're trying to integrate them. But yeah, let's have that kind of weird crap. Although I will go ahead and make an actual guess. I feel like, well, one, we've already said Survive kind of has to come out in 2021. If it doesn't, yeah. I think that's when you have to announce whatever the hell the story thing is that Habu's been talking about being worked on at this point since before Hacker's Memory came out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because when he was doing interviews for Hacker's Memory, he was talking about how they were already working on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to show, because it was 2 years ago when we saw those models that had clearly been updated for Agumon and Gabumon,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone thought they were going to announce the new story game, and they announced Survive. So yeah, so we'll see what pops up with that. Any thoughts for 2020, 2021?
Well, when I
Maybe
say
do another
I hope,
versus figure.
I didn't hear either of those. AR, why don't you go first?
oh well, I mean, like I said, when I say I hope that they do something weird, that means that it's not by nature, it's not something I would be able to predict. So I'm not going to.
Digimon Adventure continues for season 2.
That would not be weird. That's like exactly the opposite of what I want them to do.
Yeah, that's why I went with it, because you won't make a
Yeah.
guess. So I picked the blandest one possible.
Yeah, that's like the most blandest opposite of weird thing that they could do. That's where I run away screaming.
Okay, and Dev, what were you gonna go with?
I kind of hope they come out with another versus figure because Omegamon versus Diablomon just looks so friggin' cool. Like something
I have to be honest. I feel like that's like a softball grand slam for. I don't see that they were coming up with new branding and everything for one figure.
It would be really good if they made a Vombemon figure that you could kind of pair with the Anjuamon Celestial Arrow one.
That's actually not a bad one. Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
So if they were going to do an actual versus mode figure, Dev, who would you think would be the second one? Who do you do after Omegamon and Diablomon? What's the Grand Slam coming out for the second figure?
Imperial Digimon Paladin mode and WarGreymon.
See, that feels too obvious. That I feel like that's what you do for the 5th or the 10th one when you decide to go $600. That's what they've kind of done in the past. Is the first one's the obvious one, and then a couple later they pump it up. I feel like I'm trying to think, who would you actually go?
Well, the thing is, they already have
WarGreymon Mugendramon.
That's a good one, actually.
I mean, I'd really like to see like a Millenniumon gem figure, because I'd love to see how they do like kind of like the electrical kind of like ghost shroud over top of them with like the clear or
See,
like translucent plastic.
I feel like they won't, because the gem figures feels like it has to be the signature gonna buy type thing. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of fans who like Millenniumon, but I feel like that's not the. I think the only way you get
let's let Millenniumon show up and do his
Yeah.
magic in
Once
the new
Millennium
series.
shows
And
up
then
in the show,
we'll decide where we're at with Millenniumon.
yeah, that may
before we
change
talk
things.
about making plushies of them.
Ian wants to know if Greymon Parrotmon's too mundane. Unless they just make it look amazing, yes. I feel like to make that work, it has to be like the end shot from the movie,
I
where you
considered
have the
that
fire
one,
being done. Like you have
I
to make
considered
that
that
so.
one. It didn't quite pop for me.
It has to look so spectacular that, because the problem is you can find Greymon very easy. It has to be worth that, because it's not going to get cheaper than 300. Yeah.
Well, they could do like a Belzebumon and Dukemon, because
yeah,
Belzebumon figures
like
basically
that one.
print money.
Yeah, that's a good obvious one.
Because he already has 2 gem figures, and
yes,
goddamn, they're pretty.
Yeah. So, AR, where can they find you?
Twitter at FirstAgentARP, Digimon.firstagent.net is my review site. And I think that's all I got going for this week.
And Dev, what Wikimon article would you like people to read this week?
A list of Digimon design contests.
Ooh.
I already disagree, because it put this one up. I already know. I saw someone put this one there, and it was not a design contest. The entry's flawed, because they put the memorial story thing there.
You can edit that out.
Yeah, I'll just have to kill whoever did that.
Could probably guess off the top of my head, but there's no episode of Adventure next week. We're probably going to do one based on what news pops up, but if we don't see you for 2 weeks, it'll be 2 weeks. I expect we'll probably be here next Sunday, because
I believe can't do next Monday.
Yeah.
Mondays in January are generally bad for me.
Yeah, January is going to be probably almost all Sunday or Tuesday episodes, so we will see what pops up. We will catch you guys next year. Do we have anything else?
Nope.
Everyone go look at that Thanks 2020 image if you haven't seen it yet, because that's really some fantastic artwork. We will catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.